Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's a privilege for me to be able to stand here with all of you present to serve the Inner Spiritual Center and to support my friend Sharon in the work that she does to help all of you. And equally, and if not infinitely more important, to do what I can to support you with the words and the support and love of your family and friends in spirit. And I never know what I'm going to talk about until I step up here. And even then, I'm just trusting Spirit is going to inspire me to say what is appropriate. I wasn't planning to discuss this, but when Sharon introduced me, she spoke about the laughter and some of the crazy things, which I won't bore you with, although they could make for good conversation. I want to talk about a moment of friendship and tears for a moment to help you to understand something. And that particular moment was at my mother's funeral. In the experience of a medium losing a parent, it's never easy. It's never easy for any of us to lose a parent. But you might think as a medium, oh, well, don't worry, Richard, you'll talk to your mom. But as a medium, I perceive and the way I experience the spiritual realm is in service to others. So it's not that I get to talk to mom and dad every day. Now, Sharon was there at my mother's burial. And my mother, when my father passed, I had demanded a certain thing. I wanted to know something. Dad, you got to tell me this. You know, I got to get my answer. But with mom, I kept my mouth shut. And I just said to Spirit, when she's ready. My mother is not one for lavish expressions of affection, unlike her son. She's much quieter, but before she passed, when I was a funeral director, she said, do me two favors. I said, what's that? She said, at my funeral, play the prayer at the funeral home before you leave. And at the cemetery, play Time to Say Goodbye. Okay. So we're standing at the cemetery, February 2nd, 2020. Sharon's standing with the group of people. I'm off to the side. The music begins to play. My father stands at the foot of the casket with his arm around my mother's waist. My mother says 3 words. It was perfect. And she leaves. I was weeping, kept my mouth shut, and in typical inimitable fashion, discounted it. Said my farewell. Sharon walks up to me at the car, holding me, smiling and crying and beaming all at once. Did you see your father standing at the foot of the casket? Yeah. Did you see your mother? She was wearing the pink dress that she wore to Valerie's wedding. Yeah. Did you hear her 3 words? Don't cry. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm not yet. The point of this, ladies and gentlemen, I could have walked away from that moment and not believed my own experience. Spirit moved this woman to remind me that there's so much more. Spirit used this woman as an instrument to give another instrument of spirit comfort. That's what we're all meant to do. Not just at a funeral, not just in a moment of pain or discomfort, but in life. When I said we were all conceived in love, I'm not talking about our parents, whether they were having a good moment or a bad moment. I'm speaking about the infinite, the source that created all being. When the source put into effect humanity's experience, the source put into effect an expression of love and divinity through every human being. And in our humanity, we are meant, in wonderful moments, yes, and in difficult moments, yes, to remind one another of the beautiful reflection of God's presence that we are. We were all conceived in love by the great source that created all of existence. But in our humanity, and I know this myself very truly, very dearly, because Sharon has talked me off the ledge more than once, Rosemary has, and my husband John has, In our humanity, we can be so hard on ourselves. We can pull apart the imperfections because we perceive that we should be more perfect than we are by some unobtainable standard. But the source that created us does not stand in judgment of our imperfection. The source created us sees us as loving expressions of divinity. And through our relationships and friendships, we are reminded of our perfection in our imperfection. We were conceived in love, and we will die. Ugh. Funeral director, medium, I don't want to die. Let's be honest. I was a funeral director for 18 years. I became a medium during my funeral service. You want to talk about therapeutic process? Notice my voice is going up, ladies and gentlemen. Even now can't use that language, but even now I'm sweating about death, all right? Point being, none of us wants to. But everything Spirit has shown us through messages of mediums, through our own experience, and through our own evolution as loving beings, everything Spirit has shown us shows us a path of moving from physicality to spirituality in love. I will never forget sitting with this gentleman for a private session, and he asked, what was my sister's death like? He and his sister lived together until her passing for 60 plus years. And in that, she showed me herself walking, and I used the language from the physical atmosphere to the spiritual atmosphere, if I can use that language. But when she stepped into the spiritual atmosphere in all of her magnificence, I saw her as a million diamonds of light. And I wept for this man. And this man said, if it's coming from your mouth, I believe it to be true. Not about me. In that moment, as Sharon was for me at a difficult time, I was fortunate to be the instrument of God to be able to convey the information. And I'm sharing it with all of you as a reminder that in our humanity, we struggle at times with things that we have no control over. We struggle at times with things that we think we can set right with family members and friends. All we can do as human beings is live here to the best of our ability. And I'm going to take you back to the song I chose, and lead with our heart. Knowing that we were conceived in love and leading with or from our heart, how can it not help make the difficult moments a little bit better? How can it not help make this life a little more enjoyable? I'm going to tell one more part to this story. I wasn't planning to do it. Last week, I was in Florida visiting friends because I haven't seen them in 2 years. I haven't traveled to Sarasota in 2 years. Went down to see some friends, and I was hanging out with one gentleman. And he said to me before we went to the pool, hey, if you get a message from Spirit, I'd really be grateful because I'm in a tough place. And my internal process was, oh, I'm on vacation. Oh, I don't want to do this. I just want to hang out by the pool. It's, oh, you know, all of that, my own personal stuff, right? I feel Spirit move me, and I'm like, oh, okay, guess what? He's a priest. I've got your father here. I've got your abuelita here. And I've got the pastor who died in the rectory that lived there before you moved here. Share with him information. It's not for you to know that. But after I shared the information, I started to weep and laugh. He looked at me and said, what's happening to you? I said, I'm feeling the presence of the infinite. My heart is bursting because I can feel the love of God in this moment. And in this moment, I heard, be still and know that I am. I heard the peace that passeth all understanding. And I felt my eternal nature in that moment. A blaze, a moment of wow for me. Yes, thank you. Why? Because I'm here to remind all of us that even though I experienced that for a moment, it is not for me alone. It is for me to share with you as a reminder. In your struggle in life and in your celebration of life, if you can always bring yourself back to your divine nature and awareness that you were conceived in love, I can't help but feel all else will fall into place. I'm honored to stand here with all of you, to work with my friend, and my friends, and my friends. You have my love. Thank you for allowing me to serve all of you. Bless you.